crazy.
Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy. Phillionaire is in the building.
Claude Kelly is in the building.
Chuck Harmony is in the building.
Bacon from Macon is in the building. What's going on?
As you see, we're here at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee, on the campus.
Sir.
We on the campus. I love coming to my HBCUs as a proud HBCU graduate, Norfolk State in the building. But I got my phone. I don't have my laptop today, but I have my phone because I got to tell you, this intro, I was like, I can try to remember this, like I'm pledging again. But
It's a rich.
This is a rich list of CVS receipts right here. Basically. So we got sitting to my left, we got a Heisman Trophy winner, College Football Hall of Famer, 4-time Pro Bowler, a Titans Ring of Honor inductee, man, this entrepreneur, actor, author, DJ, head football coach here at Tennessee State University.
Wow.
And he a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's sitting next to some noobs on this episode. But, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my brother Eddie George in the building. That's
I got some more man from love.
He's in the middle looking for a fellow brother. I mean, this is kind of look. They're over here having a whole
this
thing.
is a cue.
Top of 1911.
Oh, no.
Take it back.
I take back that.
Eddie, for the record, this side of it is the noobs over here. Yeah, the noobs on this side, 1911, the first part right here on this side.
No.
Nothing.
But y'all was somebody. Come on, man.
We did.
Shout out to
Everybody is somebody.
We did pledge Phi Mu Alpha, but that's a music fraternity. You know what I'm saying?
What would you have pledged? I'm just curious, Chuck and Claude. If you were to pledge.
Can I be honest with you? Yes. I have no clue.
Okay.
Because I grew up in New York City. And there was no fraternity life in Manhattan like that. And then when I went to music school in Boston, there was also Berkeley has no.
Yeah.
I wish I had experienced it because looking from the outside in, I respect the brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
And especially growing up like in a single parent without a father, I was like, damn, I wish I had that. I had known to insert myself in that, but the schools I went to didn't really have it.
Yeah.
So you can't change that, but I got a lot of brothers anyway, so I'm good.
But you know what? I'm excited, like I mentioned earlier, to be here at a historically black college and university, Tennessee State University.
Yes.
This is amazing. Actually, I've said this earlier when I walked in here. I actually want to come over here and do like a lecture. I want to do a class, a course.
We were discussing this earlier. I think
on the music
it would be like
we're gonna do it.
The students would be lucky to get some insight from you.
That'd be a blessing.
And I live right up the street, so just to be just in the vicinity of Tennessee State, of Fisk, of Meharry, like it's like home. Like I went to HBCU, shout out to Benedict College, Columbia, South Carolina, but it really takes me back to those days. So yeah, shout out to TSU, man. And
so Eddie, what made you come to Tennessee State? Like, I mean, take me back. I heard a crazy story, and I don't know how true it is, but as far as it all happened during the pandemic, right?
Yes, it was during the pandemic.
And President Glover, tell us how you got to Tennessee State.
To add to that list, I have a wealth management business as well. Been in the business for 7 years, the Edward George Wealth Management Group, powered by Ameriprise. Got my Series 766, MBA, and all that stuff years ago. So I was doing still do some business with the AKA Foundation. She's the president of the AKA Foundation. Long story short.
That is President Glover.
President Glover,
yeah.
Yes. She approached me one day about, wanting to be the head coach for Tennessee State, and I pushed it away. I was like, no! Hell no! Right. You know what I'm saying? I basically, was happy with building my business, doing some stuff on Broadway, acting, seeing my kids play ball, just being a dad and a husband and finding my lane in that regard. And doing coaching just completely shifts my world. Now I'm doing a true 9 to 5. I'm coming in every day. I was playing golf at Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
Big change. Yes. Big change. Yeah.
You talk about sacrifice, you talk about making God laugh, tell him your plans.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, when she hit me with that, I was a little offended, one, because I was like, I never coached before. And I'm like, okay, is this some kind of a joke or what is she looking at? But it was actually an absolute blessing because now I can have an opportunity to give back to the game that gave me so much.
That's good.
It opened up a plethora of opportunities for me, both in the sport outside of the sport, as a commentator, as a person that's played the game, as an ambassador for the sport, and now to come back in a position of leadership and influence is a true calling. Yeah. It's not like I'm just jumping in this as a cool professional or as a vogue thing to do. I have a chance to be a vessel for all of the things that I've gone through, that I've been through, and am going through to help these young men reach their full potential, tap into the kings that are in them, the warriors that are in them, the God that's in them, and raise that up. I've seen my frat brother outside. That's our love. That's we acknowledge each other. That's the true brotherhood. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's it. That's it.
No shimmy.
I don't know what.
No shimmy.
That's when you look at the whole. That's how I look at. Wow. See, I got you. Wow. See what I'm saying?
Wow. See, I didn't know. See, I like y'all up until this point. You know?
You got to look at the whole. That's what that means to me. But I say all that to say, coming here. I know I needed this opportunity more so than it needed me, because at that particular time, going into 21, when I took the job, things shifted a little bit. I still have my businesses. It just looks differently. I have my partners. It's going well. I'm still very actively involved. And I realized that everything that I've done prior to taking this job had prepared me for the job. Wow. You know, from being an actor, and one of the greatest assets as an actor is to listen. And as a leader, you have to listen, right? And you have to learn to be vulnerable, to be transparent. You got to be real, because kids will read right through it. You know, trying to emulate and be somebody that I'm not, trying to act like Coach Prime or Nick Saban. Nah, I got to be me. And you know, this job requires me to wear various hats in different moments. So I have to be nimble and agile, you know, from being a coach to being a mentor, being a mentor to being a disciplinarian, to being a disciplinarian to being a fundraiser, and to sell and to go out and try to build a true program. And we're doing it from the inside out, you know, with adequate resources.
So you have to flex all the different muscles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Consistently. Good. Anytime I step on this third floor, you know, it's a couple things I'm looking for. It's everybody on this third floor has to operate with excellence.
Amen.
There's no hats in the building.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, he went to
see what I'm saying? Like, no hats in the building.
Hey.
We come down, feet on the floor. We come in this room with intent. What is your intentions for the day? Is it to get better? Yeah. You know, holistically, as a man, as a person. And if we can focus on all of the things that don't require talent, that's being accountable, that's initiative, that's responsibility, you know, that's focus, that's hard work. If we can focus on that part, the talent will take care of itself. We're enhancing that talent now. You know, so it's just really breaking it down in those terms of building a real man from the inside out. And then the results on the field will eventually catch up to that.
I got to ask you, like, obviously a few years ago when Coach Prime went to Jackson State, did that have any influence or impact on your decision to come here?
You know what's crazy? During that time, it was in 20. And I remember the day that he signed on to become the head coach at Jackson State that spring. And I was like, dog, that's awesome. I hit Prime. I was like, hey, man, you're going to have a huge impact on these kids' lives. I think that's an amazing move. Because Dion, prior to taking the job, was coaching in high school, and he coached Little League. So he had years of experience to some degree of coaching, and he was on the NFL Network. So I was like, man, that seems like a cool deal for him, you know? And little did I know, 3 months later, I'd be calling him saying, dude, you know, what am I getting myself into? What did you walk in the door with? He says, hey, you know what? Hey, You start coming there with a prayer. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Understand that weapon is formed and is waiting for you.
It's formed and trying to prosper.
Formed, it's waiting for you as soon as you walk through the door. So this understand it's going to be there. So that's kind of what he kind of told me about to look out for, that doing business at a HBCU takes a great deal of grace. Mm-hmm. It takes patience. It's diligent. It's understanding. It's pushing, not settling for mediocrity. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And pushing it and pushing the envelope and expecting excellence at every single corner that you meet, because that's so important.
What are some of the obstacles? I would love to hear that, because I think I'm sure people from the outside looking in feel like, oh, that's Eddie George, and he's successful, he got it, he's accomplished, so he can just come in there and it's easy peasy. Like he just comes in and
you don't flip this,
waves a magic wand and everything is right. So it'd be good for people to hear the actual hurdles.
Well, here's the thing. Wins can also mask the issues. You can win ball games, but still the quality of life might not be right. The culture might not be right. I can't speak for anybody else. When we got here, things were different. There was, a lack of resources in various areas, from certainly the funding of the program, where it was, the state of it. You have to navigate through a system where people are used to doing things a certain way for a certain period of time. So for things to be done in a timely manner, we have to be on one accord and try to get people to, we got to get things done from a paperwork standpoint, or this is what we have to do. So at every single level, whether that's been academics or nutrition or housing or compliance, even down to our recruiting in terms of getting the paperwork in, that all had to be addressed to get it to a level where we can be efficient and get things done in a timely manner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're dealing with the HBCU, one, there aren't a great deal of resources, and sometimes the resources that you have aren't as strong and robust and powerful. Mm-hmm. The level of accountability sometimes isn't there for what you're trying to do, for really trying to build a program. So, it's challenging on all fronts. But the exciting part about it is knowing that, I'm built for this shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you're here. Yeah. And I'm here to make an impact, to make a difference, and to leave this place better than what I got it. I have a vision for where I would love to see this program. And I hold on to that vision and working, diligently toward making that come to fruition.
We sound crazy.
I'm interested in knowing, now that you've been here 2 years, if you've seen what works, what doesn't work. And HBCUs are rooted in community. It's rooted in the neighborhoods that they're in. From your vantage point, how can we as a community, as Black people, continue to preserve the legacy of HBCUs, just from what you've seen with being at the top of the food chain here at TSU?
Capital, dollars, and intellectual capital. Networking, coming back and really rolling your sleeves up, and getting in and doing the work. That's what it's going to take. It's giving back to the university. It's endowment. It's capital campaigns, and giving back to the university in a real dollar amount. If it's not a dollar amount, creating opportunities with corporations or other businesses that's going to help it. It doesn't serve us when alumni come back just for homecoming and complain about the issues that they've been complaining about the last 20 years with no solutions. Right. Yeah, there's the problem, but what's the solution? And then once you figure out what the solution is, let's execute that. That's not to stand around, a fire pit with some brews and some liquor and cigars and talk about your successes and then bitch about, what's not being done. There's an opportunity here. The most successful universities, they plot and plan. They're sitting there, notepad out. How are we going to get this done? Let's set dates. Let's set goals. Let's set an agenda, dates and times, and meet that and execute. That's what it's going to take. I think there's enough out there for us to be successful. And I think it's going to also take for the school to continue to fight for the money that's owed to them from the land grant.
Yeah.
That 250 sitting out there. That
250,
man.
bro.
No.
Which really should be 500, right?
Half a bill. Yes. Yes, let's just be clear about that. And that,
This is crazy.
in today's environment, that can be a shot in the arm. For what we can do. I mean, this changes the whole landscape of things with investment in new buildings, a portion that can go toward the endowment. Yeah. Now you're, using the interest off of the money, and you're able to staff more people. You're able to attract the best professors and the best coaches, and really focus on a customer service, servicing the students in a grander way, and that can change overnight. So I think to answer your question, it's going to take for people to really care and to really be serious about making change happen and investing their time and their money into the school that they want to see things change.
Is that money going to come to fruition at a certain point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. You mean the 250?
250?
Yeah.
Formerly the 500?
Yeah, well,
that's crazy though.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy to me because how can you allocate the money, quote unquote, but then you want to tell the school specifically where to allocate? Like, that don't even make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't do that to any other Power 5 university, just being a buck. Like, no other top tier, like, HBCUs to me, it's so frustrating because I've seen it for years, that, how it's just different. It's just different, man. It's just...
And here it is. Each institution is different, and I'm not deep under the hood to say, well, hey, they've in the past mismanaged money.
Yeah,
but that's kind of been the rhetoric, and that's kind of been the stigma of HBCUs is that it goes into a black hole, and who's being held accountable for it. So in this situation, it's got to be a level of transparency of, hey, this is our plan, this is our strategic plan in the next 5 to 10 years. This is what we're going to do. Here's where the money is going, and there's a checks and balances in place with that. So I think that may have something to do with it as well.
Okay.
As someone who has been taught, I'm speaking about you obviously, and mentored and coached and seen it all the way to the mountaintop, what's different now about having to teach, coach students, aspiring athletes, aspiring businessmen? What's the main difference in doing that now in the world we live in compared to when you were doing it?
Well, my role, my perspective and vantage point was different when I was in it as a player. And my intention and my drive was different. You know what I'm saying? Like I think social media has really spoiled a lot of these kids in terms of distraction, but just, at the tip, like, what is it for? Some kids are playing the game just to get followers.
Right. Oh, wow, yeah.
Not to get somewhere.
Right.
Like, I was playing to get somewhere. I was playing to be great. I wanted to go and play in the NFL and take care of my family and set myself up financially. Some of these kids think that it's just going to happen. They think that, hey, I go and play a couple of games, I put a highlight reel together, I don't have to be consistent, and I'm going to go to the next level. It doesn't work that way. There's levels to this.
Yeah.
There's levels to this. There's levels to this.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
And you've got to put in the work. You got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined. You got to be locked in. You got to have a championship mindset. You know what I'm saying? You got to be passionate about this.
So do those students that feel the way kind of fall by the wayside?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah, so they're not going to make it.
Yes. Well, not here.
Not yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's still some ways to go. There's some things I still have to put in place that's going to hold them accountable and so you can feel the heat. So therefore, I don't have to walk in here and have to say, okay, take your hats off and hoodies. It's already done. Mm-hmm. That's how I know that we're of the same mindset. We're of the same thought process. And if it's like having a rider, right? Yeah. You make a rider for your artist to make sure when you walk in the venue, you see those peanut M&Ms on the table, you know everything else is done. Or that white candle that's a certain brand, you know that all the small details are done. Right.
Standards.
Standards.
Yeah.
But you know that everything else is, so it's the same thing.
Okay.
So I train my eyes to say, okay, we have all white socks on. Okay, we're all locked in. Because that's the standard.
It's basically rebuilding a culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that has to be considered. And that's challenged every single day. And that goes to and extends out to my coaching staff as well, that they're holding the kids accountable the same way I'm holding them accountable.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's good. Wow. That's good.
There's a lot of differences between, like, we're all in music, differences in music and sports. But the one thing I think that's common is competing against the distraction of social media and what that means for trying to get dedicated employees, students or mentees that are willing to learn and do the hard work and listen. Like, that's really hard now.
And you know what else is hard? It's hard to find the people that are willing to go through the valley of this.
Yeah.
Because the valley ain't for everybody.
It ain't for everybody.
You gotta be a warrior. You gotta be a warrior.
Yeah.
And guess what? In the valley, greatness is gonna be like you're overlooked, you're underpaid. No one's seeing you. You see what I'm saying? It's being in that valley is no joke, man.
Yeah.
Most people get a little taste of that valley and they run.
But
a little taste of it.
The thing is, that valley is something I want to touch on for a second. And in the spirit of what you're doing here in this season, I want to go back to 2006 in my valley, fresh out of college.
Yeah.
And I met this brother right here, Eddie George, and I've said it in private, but I want to say it publicly. Eddie and Taj, your beautiful wife, were the reason why I'm a TV producer to this day.
Wow.
They bet on a young Phil out of college. Me and Datari Turner. A show we had called I Married a Baller. It was one of the first reality shows that TV One had back in we did it 06, but it aired January of 07. But he saw something in two young brothers. I don't know. I mean, I look back now like, what the hell did you see? But two, it's like, but I want to thank you, seriously, because that
crazy.
started the journey of me as a producer.
That's
But
awesome.
it started with Eddie saying, you know what? I trust y'all. I'm gonna let you into my lives, see my family, capture this, and really it just led to the next show, which led to the next show, which led to the next film, and it just was but it started with Eddie George. So thank you,
brother.
brother.
You know why? Because you had that look in your eye, like you were hungry,
Wow.
and that wasn't about the fame. It wasn't about just getting on just for one project. You know, you had a strong vision and ambition about you, and again, you were passionate about it. You weren't motivated. You were passionate. I learned the difference between being motivated and passionate a couple days ago, like with Tim Tebow. And he says, if you're motivated, that's great. But when you're let's say you started working out for the top of the year and you're going into March. How consistent are you about it? Once you get tired and it becomes mundane and you're tired, that's motivated. But when you're passionate, you're going to suffer.
Ain't no stopping you.
You push through that.
You're going to push through it.
Yeah.
When you get punched in the mouth, when somebody tells you no, slams the door in your face, not giving you money, not buying your vision, your passion is going to help you get through that. It doesn't mean you're not going to be weary at some point, but you rest, you get back up, and you go do it again. If you're motivated, once you get hit with adversity at one time, maybe this ain't for me. You know what? I've heard this no before. Oh, okay, maybe I got to do something else.
That's good.
Versus saying, okay, you know what? What can I learn from that no? How can I change up my pitch?
so
What do
good.
I need to change in my business plan? How do I need to focus on this point versus the other? I don't know what that is. So it's just changing up, being agile and willing to see it through, because that's where the work is. That's where you won your Oscar. That's yet to come. That's where you won
Come
the
on, Phil.
awards on everything else in those moments. You know what I'm saying? In the valleys.
That's deep.
Valleys, man.
So,
That's deep.
so would I be safe to assume that one of your valleys was the period between the Dallas Cowboys and hitting
I've had several valleys.
I know, but
Yes.
am I safe to assume that between the Dallas Cowboys and getting on that Broadway stage?
Oh, no question.
Tell me about that, and what helps you?
Well,
what helped
from a
propel
mental
you?
health standpoint, to end the game, at the end of my career, it was tough on me emotionally,
Right.
Because I poured my entire being into the sport, and once I was done with the game, I had to divorce from myself from the football player, that identity, and that was tough to do, you know. From the time I was born, I had a football in my hand.
Right,
I had
right.
the electric football field. I used to take the bread twist that you have off the bread and make men out of them and play football with them. Everything was geared toward the game of football.
Yeah.
So at the age of 31, when my career ended, I went through a tough time mentally. I would never say I was discouraged. I was depressed. I just know that I was in a dark place, and just to get a good quality of rest, you know, taking Ambien, you know, 1, 2, and 3 pills just to get through the night, so I'm not feeling anxious. I said, okay, I cannot medicate my way through this. I've got to dig deep and get to the source of the problem. So I went and got counseling, and from that point on, and I still get counseling to this day and guidance. From that point on, I went back and got my master's in business. I said, okay, if I'm getting into acting, I'm going to take acting classes because I wasn't very good. And I did that religiously for 6 years prior to even jumping on the stage.
Wow.
You know, went from, you know, flubbing my lines, doing God's trombones, James Walton Johnson, to starring on Broadway.
Yeah, man.
And a 7 to 8 year period.
Chicago. Played
Chicago,
Billy Flynn.
Billy Flynn, yeah.
Hello.
So you can't sing.
But you sung those nights. I saw it.
Yes, I sung that night. But I kept putting in the work. And what I've learned from that was, man, you can do anything you put your mind to. You know, again, it's all about the moment that your feet hit the floor when you wake up. You know, what do you do? For me, I go put my feet on the floor, then I turn around, put my knees on the floor. And I am very diligent about that. You know, I've had to learn how to seek God more and to trust him more in this journey, because there were times when I thought it was about me and what I wanted to do, and forget everybody else. And even to my own family, I say, okay, my family at times can be a distraction. Where now I'm like, no, I am here for them. I'm leading them. I have to lead them first. And then once that I've gotten that alignment, my priorities right, then everything else started to have a domino effect behind that.
We sound crazy.
So I want to talk, many don't realize it, but Eddie's an incredible DJ. I've been at many parties, heard him spin. Music is like another love, another passion. Like
A DJ can either make or break the party.
Exactly.
Facts.
So what we talking about?
He's like, so,
What we doing?
Okay.
What you want?
So, okay,
Let's
so
go.
let's go here.
All right.
So musically, give me your Mount Rushmore music, all genres. Mount Rushmore.
Ooh.
Like we say, you saying artists or just the genres?
Artists.
Yeah.
You can use any genre. It could be hip hop, R&B, combination, whatever you want. Mount Rushmore.
Oh my God. Well, I'm a hip hop head. I mean, I was born when hip hop was born, 1973.
Yep.
That was kind of it. But the disco era, I live in 90s hip hop.
Okay.
That's my number one for me. I'm on the Afro beats now too. I love Afro beats. Of course, R&B, you know, with Taj and so forth. But when I DJ, I always go back to the classics, the break beats. You know, growing up in Philadelphia, it was great because, you know, either you was playing basketball or you was hitting one of the 4 elements of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was a DJ, MC, graffiti artist, or a break dancer. I was a break dancer at one point in time before I got big. I tried to draw, didn't work at it. MCing, that wasn't it. I wasn't an MC. But it was something about the turntables and the music that I loved that spoke to me. Yeah. My uncle, Rodney, they call him DZ Hot Rod. used to store all of his records in my grandmother's basement. I mean, he had crates. Crates. This was like during the disco era, right? So he had his turntables, Technic 1200s.
Okay.
And I would get those records, and I would get Michael Jackson. I would try to scratch. He was like, boy, don't you mess up my damn records. You killing my records. And he wasn't into scratching. He was just, back then, play the record, the whole record, then blend it in, and that was it. But scratching was relatively new. So that always had an effect on me. And growing up, I would always go by the DJs and see I was so mesmerized by how they would find the record, spin it back. And it was just magical to me. And my mother could never afford to buy me equipment so I could practice. So I'm dating Taj, and we, it was right around I was 26 years old, we're having one of those intimate conversations, at night in the bed, and, it's talking, pillow talking. I was, talking about our childhood growing up. And I said, I always wanted 2 turntables and a mic. Always wanted that. I could afford it at that time because I was in the league. But I said, I always wanted 2 turntables in my house. And this is how I knew that she was the one for me. So for my 27th birthday, I come home from practice. And she's like, got something for you. I was like, word, what is it? So I go downstairs, and she had set up 2 Technic 1200s, a mixer, a microphone, and 27 records.
That's crazy. That's love.
My 27th birthday, and my number's 27.
Ooh.
So I said, okay, this is the one.
This is the one.
That's the one.
And I have never stopped playing. I graduated. I still got my 1200s. I'm a purist to heart. So I love the feel, the vinyl and everything else, but I've grown my record collections up to now on the laptop, like 30,000, 40,000 songs.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? And I just constantly work on the craft, and I get lost in it. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's blending different genres, like the disco era or reggae.
You giving me genres, Eddie, but I want to get artists. Like,
You
what
want artists?
I want artists. I want to know who on the Mount Rushmore is it? Who?
If I were to let's go with MCs.
Okay.
Let's go MCs. And it's hard to give a top 5. You know what I'm saying? It's really tough to give a top 15. I mean, you got where's Snoop at? Where's Busta Rhymes?
Yeah.
It depends on the criteria, but I like for somebody, for MCs, if we were to spit in a cipher right now, who would it be? So Black Thought.
Okay.
Right? Hove.
Okay.
Mos Def.
Okay.
KRS-One.
Okay.
Nas. Let's see. Did I say Rakim? Who else? Busta Rhymes. Oh. Ice Cube.
Yeah. He don't get talked about.
He don't get talked
He does
about.
not get talked
he's
about.
famous. He's famous, of course. But
His pen is nasty.
Yeah.
for his artistry, but just how we were introduced to him, people don't really talk about Ice Cube enough.
Oh, Ice Cube's a monster.
Yeah, he's dope. I like that. People don't put them in the top. Cube.
Is there any
Dispute?
He's like here to fight.
His thing. I definitely got a different list though. If I'm going let's say top 5 MCs, I'm still Big and Pac on their own kind of island for me.
They are.
I put them in a separate situation.
Okay.
But I'm going Ye. I'm going Wheezy. See, looking at Kendrick Lamar. I'm putting Drake in there.
Time
And I'm putting Andre 3000.
Time out.
Yeah.
Andre, yes. Andre 3000. All right, hold on. Now, when you say,
I feel a
what's
challenge
this based on?
coming.
What are you
This is my
basing it on?
criteria. Like, if I'm going top 5 MCs, for me, again,
According to Phil.
according to me, and again, I much respect to the Rakims, to Kanes, to Mos Def. These are some of my favorites.
Uncle L.
Uncle L. Much
Uncle
respect
L.
to
Uncle L.
but just when I think about consistency and just who I listen to the most and who impacted me creatively, musically, like those are people that have just stood the test of time, but I still just on repeat. That's just me though. That's my list.
That's what I'm saying. It's tough to list the top
It's
5.
tough. It's tough.
It's got to be a category of that gold standard.
Yeah.
And then just dudes.
And it depends on where you're from, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the 50th year. 50th
hip-hop,
anniversary
yeah,
of hip hop. So
What are some of your, or I guess your top 5 albums? Like,
Oh my God.
if you and Taj were stranded on an island, what albums?
We had this conversation. Albums, again, I would have to say Illmatic.
Illmatic, great album.
Beyond the walls of intelligence, life is defined. I think of crime when I'm in a New York state of mind.
Classic.
Off the Wall, Michael Jackson. I'm gonna stay with SWV. They had some hits, man.
It's About Time is a classic.
About Time is a classic. I'll go About Time.
I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak. I lose all control, and something takes over. In a day, you look so amazing.
Albums. What's the 411?
Yeah.
What's the 411?
Yes, Mary J.
We are lovers through and through, and though we made it through the storm, I really want you to realize, I really want to put you on.
And then, oh boy, God, let me think here. I'm a jazz head too. I'm gonna go Kinda Blue.
Okay.
All right, so that's
St.
your
Louis.
top 5 albums right there.
Yeah,
Is-
it
is-
just hits.
Yeah.
That's how I know I trust him as a DJ.
No, Clark.
But there's more. There's more.
But just that 5 right there knows it's
Yeah.
going to be a good time at the party no matter what. That's what's up.
Yeah.
For sure.
You don't trust me though. I feel like I need to show you.
Nah, I
more
trust.
so.
Nah, I trust.
No, I don't think so.
He's like, I can
think
show you,
so.
brother. I can tell you.
Nah, I don't think so.
As soon as you said Illmatic, I was like, okay, we're going on the right
No,
lane.
but the
here.
fact that you
Kind of blue.
Kinda Blue, right.
You have the vinyl, like you DJ with the vinyl. Like, not a lot of people do that nowadays. Like, so yeah, I personally trust you.
I mean, you're a
as
vinyl
DJ.
collector too, so.
Yeah. I mean,
What's your top 5?
ooh, it changes. It
MCs?
changes. MCs, albums.
Let's go albums.
Oh shoot.
Man, Bacon put you on the spot, bro.
Jesus.
I like
Yeah.
this. The
This is,
aficionado on
this
the
is
spot.
hard. I'm drawing a blank right now because I listen to
It does, right?
I
Yeah, you
listen to so much music.
Yeah.
I'll say right now,
Right now.
from like a all-time standpoint, I've been listening to Thriller a lot lately. I guess because it's the 40th anniversary and what have you. So I'll put that in my top 5 right now. Not all time, but right now. Want to stress that. Thriller, Whitney's first album. Don't Be Cruel.
Don't be cruel.
Yeah, no, that was.
I see what you've done here, Tamone.
Never Say Never, Brandy.
Yeah, Brand B. B's no joke. Yes.
And then Legal Drug Money by the Lost Boys.
Legal drug money.
Wow.
And the reason why I picked
I
that
love
is
the
because-
Lost Boys. That was a surprise.
The reason why I picked that is because I remember sitting in the backseat of my brother-in-law's Jeep. Shout out to Tori. During 1996, summer of 96, he would come pick me up from summer camp. And he would always have that album playing. And so I just kind of revisited maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and just all these memories came back. And so
Yeah,
every now and
yeah.
again, I just kind of pop it in and just
I was
kind
in
of.
high school in New York when the album came out. Like
Yeah.
Jeeps and Renee.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
hit
just
that Lex
prime
Beam-
storytelling.
Beam-
Jeeps,
Benz.
let's Coops the Beamers
Prime
in the
storytelling.
band.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So
All them up.
those would be my 5 right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandy too. One of my favorite albums is Full Moon.
Yeah.
Is that one of the best?
That's
Yes.
like
That's
a
a classic.
standard
That is the standard, right?
R&B album.
Oh my God.
That's like perfection.
That is perfection.
100%.
Every cut on there is ridiculous.
Front to back.
Top to
Yes.
bottom. I got to ask you, favorite SWV song?
Oh my God. When This Feeling Comes Over Me.
That's a
When
deep
this
cut.
feeling comes
See?
over
Surprised you.
me.
I love it.
That,
I love it.
That was my favorite cut. And this is before I started dating Taj again. And I remember on the plane I was listening to that. I was like, man, this song is incredible. And it's not a popular cut.
Right.
It's one of the deep ones. So I like, of course, Anything and Right Here is great and Downtown. But those girls, they put out some hits.
They sure did.
That people don't necessarily know about, unless you really listen to their music. But that's my favorite song.
Have you been watching the show?
Oh, I have
the
to.
Bravo series, SWV and Escape Queens of
good
R&B.
show so far.
So, because I saw you on it on
Yes,
a recent
yes.
episode, I said I just wonder if you've been watching it and your thoughts.
Yes. My wife makes sure that me and my son, we sit there and we watch it with her. So last time, the first episode, I was trying to do two things at once, and I watched the show and stretch. She was like, "You're not watching. You're not paying attention." I'm like, "You're not looking at." I said, "I'm just stretching. Like I can't." So this time last night, I sat like a good boy and watched the whole show.
Yeah.
And she's like looking at me on the side of I making sure I wasn't on my phone. But I like the show. I think it's good. I mean, you have two iconic R&B groups, and you have the dynamics of course, the women working together.
Oh yeah.
And that's always tough, but they're so talented and it's so good. And of course, you're going to get natural, real drama when you have that together. You throw all them together. So I think it's really well done. It's being well done.
I can't wait to. I know we're still in the midst of it now, but I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Because I heard through the grapevine that initially there was the idea of them co-headlining, but then Escape, and I love Escape for the record, but it's a bit delusional in to believe that SWV is not on an equal, if not bigger level, but at least let's just go equal for the sake of it, because there's nothing, respectfully, in Escape's repertoire catalog bigger than Weak. Like, that's just,
not one
that
thing.
one song.
Not one thing.
I don't
The
get
entire
understanding,
Escape
none
catalog.
of that.
there's
Like,
not one
who can I
song.
run to? It's just like,
And
so
I'm from
you,
Georgia.
You got to put some respect on SWV. Like, just, and again, I'm speaking.
It's a bigger group.
I'm strictly looking at numbers. I actually pulled the numbers myself.
Yes.
So this is public information. You can look at the charts, pull the Billboard. But so when I look at just the charts, but even thinking about the impact,
Influence.
yeah. So some people get caught up with the reality shows today and being on certain shows, and that kind of creates a certain sense of value. But as far as the music and the hits,
SWV.
to me,
lasts
so
forever.
to me, the right approach is co-headline. Let's do this together. So I hope that. Hopefully we see it. Hopefully we see a tour. Is my personal.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I think there's enough for everybody there, and just some of the ideas that they have about splitting the groups up and having Candy come out and Taj. And
I think it's great.
I think it's
that's
great.
dope, too.
And they sing each other's songs, and there's so many different ways they can spin off and make the show really rock.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? So I think that it can be a powerful deal.
Not to
It's,
mention
it's good for the music and the culture of
say
music
that,
to
yeah.
see them together, such iconic groups. I'm
But we
excited
closing on
about
Week
it.
though. That's what we close.
We closing on Week.
The show concludes with Week though. Just so everybody wins. Just so we clear.
the show concludes with
You got to go to the biggest hit.
"Thank You, Good Night" right before that.
That's it.
Week.
People, that's it. Take your bow.
I agree with
Band
you.
keeps playing this week though. That's what it is.
Right.
I'm with you on that.
I have a question for you. So, anybody that know me know my favorite number. What's my favorite number?
27.
Is there a my favorite number is 27 because I was.
Why? I'm curious.
Because I was an Eddie George fan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Houston
I
Oilers.
thought it was like this.
I've been
Really?
I've been rocking with that number. Is there a significance to that number for you?
Absolutely not. But I see it everywhere I go. It's like my angel number. Like I could be driving somewhere and I'm kind of questioning like, why am I going to this event or what the hell am I doing? And I'll see the number 27. Like I was driving down the street the other day and it was an ambulance or two fire trucks on the road and it was E27. I was like, okay, I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, I basically picked that number because it was literally the only number that was available that looked good on me at Ohio State.
That's crazy.
I mean, these dudes had me in number 38. Like, who? Anybody?
Who rocks 38?
You tell me a famous 38 in any sport.
Right.
Who?
Now, numbers have a ring to them.
But there are not
you gotta-
many famous 27s.
Right. But when I looked at the 27, I was like,
It felt right.
It's just
Yeah.
the stature. I said, you know what? I'm gonna make something out of this number.
I had a similar situation. I was trying out for the football team, and so we had to pick a jersey, and I picked 27.
Oh, word?
Because I was a Houston Oilers fan.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice,
man. Yeah, man.
nice.
It's crazy.
Nice. How old are you?
43.
You're shoot. You're not too much. You're older than me.
Is your jersey retired too, Chuck? Just
I didn't make it.
Ohio State and Tennessee Titans over here.
I had to pick back up the tuba and the trombone because I wasn't doing football
Well,
justice.
I gotta see if I can bless you with something, man. Yeah,
I would love that.
Absolutely.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Do the students that you work with here put you under a lot of new music?
Oh, I'm always trying to listen to new music.
Really?
Yes.
Anything
And I'm
that you
trying to
love?
understand, the new dances associated with it. My man, what's the kid out of Philly?
Lil Uzi.
Lil Uzi.
You've heard? Yeah, got the new one out.
Just want to rock. Yeah.
Just wanna rock.
1600 block. I just wanna rock. I just wanna.
Huge.
It's huge. Yeah. It's
He's
cool.
like, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
Little hip thing.
Yeah.
You gonna add it to the DJ set?
Right.
You got to.
Yeah.
You got to. You got to
a
figure
hit.
it out. I think it's a hit. I think of the new school kids now. Lola Brooke.
Yes. Yeah.
Do something to make me feel good. Here I come, 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 here I come. Here I come.
Jeez, that's mean.
Yeah.
That's
signs Lola Brooke.
That cut is mean. That's a mean one. I'm feeling that. I like who's the young lady? She took the one beat. By the message. Flipped it.
Coileray.
Coileray.
Yeah. I like her as well. Yeah.
About to catch another flight. The apple about to make him wanna bite. I just wanna have a good night. I just wanna have a good night. Older.
Yeah, it's a cute song.
Yeah.
Catchy.
So yeah, I'm always trying to stay connected to my players through music, through latest fashion, through the newest slang. I think that's so important that I have to be able to connect with them in that regard and to relate to them to some levels. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all in this together, and I'm constantly learning. I got my music on. I'll throw on 90s hip hop. I'm like, oh, who is this? I'll say, hey, no extra running if you get this artist right. You know what I mean? Like we had Mobb Deep playing. I'm like, who is this? Shook Ones. Nobody knows.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
They don't know. Shook
That hurts my heart.
Son, they shook, cause ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Scared to death and scared to look. They shook, cause ain't no such things as
Crazy.
We're not even going in deep. And that, to me, that album is
Another classic.
Yeah. Another classic.
Another classic.
It's hard.
I was watching
it's
this,
hard to believe that people don't know that stuff.
In 1988, the amount of albums, you think about the albums that came out in 1988, that year. I think it was, Public Enemy, it was Biz Markie, it was Big Daddy Kane, The Symphony. That one year, if you Google 1988, the albums that were out, set the foundation for hip hop as we know today. That era.
Write that down.
How many hits, how many albums that came out that year were classics? Now, can you say that today?
Wow.
Good name him, Phil. Go ahead, please.
So
88.
you got-
It's 88.
EPMD, Strictly Business.
God. Come on.
BDP, By All Means Necessary.
Yes.
The Great Adventures of Slick Rick.
Oh, my God.
Straight
That's
Outta
crazy.
Compton, NWA. Long Live the Kane. Big Daddy Kane. I'm trying to see what else is up here. Follow the Leader. Eric B. and Rakim. MC Light. Light as a Rock.
Wow.
Jeez. It's a lot up here, bro. It's
Yeah,
too
you
short.
can't- you
Life
can't
is
say
too
that
short.
now.
Kid and Play. Salt and Pepper. Salt with a deli
Think about
pepper. Hammer. Let's get it started. It's a whole bunch of
And it was hit in every part of the country.
Yeah.
It did.
In
Yeah.
all different parts of
Wow.
the genre. Like you had some for the dudes, for the ladies, for the pop. That was a pivotal year in 1988, man.
I didn't realize that all that happened in 1 year.
Yeah.
Because the heat, can you imagine? Can you tell me what right now is like? Is there one album that you can name right now that you like? That has that type of impact?
Nas last project
Yeah, Nas,
with Hit Boy.
yeah. Yeah,
The one he did with Hit
Hit
Boy.
Boy.
Yeah,
that was a
King
good album.
Disease.
Last
Oh,
two been
Disease
strong.
3?
Yeah.
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 But he's from the 90s. Like,
But he's from
Kendrick's album.
Kendrick's
yeah,
album.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That was
strong to me.
album.
Well, now that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're
What do you mean,
talking
like right now, like as in 23?
Like, so I'm saying, like, we're talking about 1 year. You just named about
15.
15 albums.
Oh yeah. Now we're going back to the 2010s
Nah,
or something. Yeah, we go 2010s.
Right. So it's like one every
5, 10 years.
10
yeah.
years. You might have a couple of
That's even
hits.
worth talking about. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That
but do you
is
think
crazy.
that's because, now you got to get it out and you got to continue to put product out there, whereas back then there was more intention behind, hey, we're not trying to stay on the hamster wheel. We're actually trying to put out quality product here. Even in hip hop, there was intentionality behind it. Like I just, of course I don't know if Will Smith is considered, the go-to as far as like.
Oh, Will and them came out. I'm the DJ.
Yeah.
He's the rapper.
Yeah.
He's
I just listened to his audiobook and he was talking about how he liked to, stay consistent, but also take time in terms of, putting out records, and him and DJ Jazzy Jeff would really sit back and put intentionality behind the music. So I personally feel like there are really no classic albums now because of the constant, because
Hamster wheel?
Yeah, the hamster wheel is like when they put the record out.
Has that hurt the music industry?
Yeah.
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 To have to
Absolutely.
constantly flood the market with
I mean,
with music?
when we were talking earlier about how technology and even specifically social media has affected art and sports in the same way, it's made it a lot more accessible, which is a good thing in that, like, you can get to more people, but also it makes it that less elite.
Yep.
So where I always compare it to high-end athletics is that there's just a bar. There's just a bar. At which point you cannot make the team. There's just a bar, and even at that point, you still might not get to ever even play. But there's a bar, and with art, especially with technology now, there's no bar anymore.
Right.
So the way that we found these artists was because there was a whole system of people that found talent, scouted talent, fostered talent, taught them, styled them, taught them how to present themselves, taught them how to sing, and found the right songwriters and the right business people to put it together. And then you got Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Whole machine. And all those steps have been removed because that person would just be maybe singing in their bathroom right now. And they're going off the likes, like you said, and they can either make themselves really big or not work at all. But all the other parts that make you legendary, the stage presence, the artist development, the touring,
How about the content of the music?
the content, the reason for doing it may not be the same as it was before because you were trying to be heard from your neighborhood out of bad circumstances.
Right.
There's lots of reasons why artists back then had a platform, like desired that platform.
And some of the best projects are from those who went away for 3-4 years and lived life.
Yeah.
And went through some stuff and came back and was able to kind of push that to the public. And I don't know if it's like stan culture. Fans now, they're griping because Rihanna does not release music every year anymore. And it's like, I guarantee
She's a mom.
She's a mom.
Right. She has some life to live.
She has $1 billion fortune. Like, I'm interested in hearing this next project because she's lived life for the last 6
Yeah.
years.
And it's going to be richer, deeper.
Yes.
I think so, too.
And I wish that fan culture today would just allow artists to just go away
And simmer.
and live life and come back and give us that art because it makes for better
Makes a
music.
big difference.
Yeah.
We sound crazy.
So Eddie, we play a game here called Keep or Kill.
We do.
And we
Keep or
sound
kill.
crazy. Yeah.
I love it.
Keep or kill. You ain't got to literally kill nobody, but you just pick the keep is the person on the side that you prefer. So we'll give you two options, and we're gonna just do a little, pass the mic. But I'll kick it off right now. So Def or Bad Boy?
You're asking me...
Who's your preference? If you had to say who had the bigger impact on you, who you keeping? So Def or Bad Boy?
I'm an East Coast dude, man. I'm a bad boy all day. Bad boy. So Def. I mean, they got some bangers, but in terms of we talk about Puffy and the catalog from the streets to the clubs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So let's keep it. Okay, I'll give you another East Coast one this time. Rockefeller or Murder Inc.
Rockefeller.
Said that without question.
Nah.
This is my DJ.
Yeah, Rockefeller.
Cash Money or No Limit.
Ooh, Cash Money. Cash Money.
Michael Jackson or Prince.
You had to sit back on that one.
That's rough. Damn. MJ.
Okay.
Wow.
Anita Baker or Brandy?
That's hard.
From beginning to
You feel me?
365 days of the year. I gotta go with that.
Gotta go
Same
with
old
Anita.
love
Okay.
days. That's the rock.
It's about time or new beginning. And I hope you say the one that I want you to say. But
Wow. New beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nas or Jay-Z.
I was gonna do that one.
You know what's funny? Can I talk for a minute? Man, Hove's catalog is sick.
Crazy.
Crazy.
I gotta go Hove. A 1988 Hove is still relevant today.
Yeah.
I mean, his catalog is ignorant. I mean, like we can just stay in Hove. Like, what is his best album? Because I find like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was always a Reasonable Doubt dude.
Yeah.
But now, as I'm older and I'm listening to his stuff, I'm like, it hits different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now, like American Gangster and 444, it's just like
man.
up there.
444.
That's
See, because what happened
Yes,
is that
see,
what happened is that he's a poet
Yeah.
tucked into the almost like disguised as a rapper.
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's actually like
The evolution of this dude is remarkable,
and his
man.
commentary on life throughout these different eras of his life and just hip hop in America. Because by the time you
He's
get to
hitting on
444,
social subjects.
Oh, yeah.
He's still hitting on the glamorous life,
Politics. yeah, everything, fashion, black life, everything. It's pretty
I'm so glad you said American Gangster because no one.
pretty profound.
Nobody
yeah.
talks about
yeah.
that.
No one talks
every
about that record.
cut
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
Just throw it on when you get in the car. You're like, ooh, I forgot
It's
it.
almost
Ooh.
like it goes over your head.
Jay's in my
It
top
does.
five. Though. I don't think I mentioned him earlier,
No,
but
you
he is in
didn't.
my.
You didn't. You
Wow.
did not.
Who would you replace him with? Who do you take out?
Because you said
You said
Kanye, Wayne,
Drake.
I probably have to take out, with all due respect, I probably have to take out Andre for me.
3,000?
Yeah, I would have to. That hurts. With all due, he's a, like, if I got a guy got to make room for Jay.
Skill wise,
Yeah.
Andre's
Incredible. Incredible. Yeah.
Skill wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Hove, and I love Nas.
Yeah.
And I think Nas is that's like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
You know, like what do you,
Yeah.
you know, what flavor you want,
Right.
You know, because Nas, the last couple of albums he put out,
Crazy.
Yeah.
you know, his catalog is.
No, he's not getting anywhere. He's getting better.
Yes.
And what's interesting about it now is that, especially for black male artists, we haven't seen a lot of them. First of all, we're watching hip hop mature in front of our eyes, which we never got to see before. So you're watching the perspective of men who are 40, 50, 60, when it's always been considered to be a young, dangerous genre that you didn't live long in. So now that we have legends who are successful and rich and educated and businessmen,
Yes.
it's a whole nother platform that we're experiencing for the first time
It's
with hip hop.
produced, 3 billionaires so
Yeah.
far? And,
Yeah.
and a few guys that are closing in on
So,
that.
yeah, close to it.
Let's see. Hove, you got Dre, you have Kanye.
Yeah.
Puff. Puff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the genre is showing that you have longevity.
Yeah.
And
That's
if you
true.
own your catalog and you own
Right.
your masters, it's pretty amazing, man.
It's very inspiring.
It really is.
So let me go back, go back a little bit to let's say Rakim or Big Daddy Kane, Keep or Kill.
Man. I was just listening to Rakim too. Follow the leader, man. That's. But Kane though, man. With Raw and I'm gonna go Rakim. Go with the God.
TLC or In Vogue?
See, I was gonna say that.
TLC.
I was gonna say TLC or Destiny's Child.
Oh wow. That's tough.
That's tough.
Cause you got B-Rock. B's.
She's a threat. She's a threat. So is the Hive.
Everything about it, you got to go with Destiny's Child.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And last but not least, SWV or Escape?
Hello?
Let's talk about groups. Let's talk about groups. Let's how about this? I'll ask y'all this. I'll ask y'all this. In terms of rap groups, Wu-Tang Clan or the Roots?
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, over the Roots? Really?
Yeah, I love Roots. I thought you were going to say Tribe, and that would have been tough.
I'm from New York.
Tribe? Okay,
but Roots,
no question.
Much respect,
Wu-Tang
Quest.
songs than the Roots. So I say Wu-Tang.
Quest, Amir,
It's New York City. It's New York for me all day. Shallon out. What are we talking about?
So Wu-Tang versus Tribe.
Tribe.
All day.
Are you sure about that?
Wu-Tang. I'm still Wu-Tang
still
too.
Wu.
Personally as well.
Both of them
It makes it
changed.
tough, though.
Both
It's a-
of them
it's a
changed the sound of
51-49.
music.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But Tribe was a little more musical to me, and I'm such a music
There you
head.
go.
So,
I got you.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Music in terms of what?
Just composition-wise, how they were able to put things together, it was just a little more advanced than what Wu-Tang was doing. Still, Wu-Tang is one of my favorites. They raw. Our RZA is raw as hell, but Tribe it gave me
But
that
you do
musicality.
understand there will never be a group that had 9 MCs that had all different styles.
That's
Yeah.
true.
and
That's
were
true.
all lethal.
That was like it's like X-Men. That's like a Marvel situation.
No, it's not even the X-Men, dog.
You know what I mean?
That's,
It's like
that's
they're all
never been heard. 9
9.
MCs
Yes.
and all lethal.
Yes.
All of them.
Every last one of them.
Incredible.
There
I'm going
wasn't
to-
a weak link on there.
I'm going to say they come in to town with Nas in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
gotta
Wu-Tang and Nas together.
That's crazy.
It's a crazy night. Yeah, it's gonna
Yes,
be, yeah.
yes.
So yeah, Wu-Tang. I used to have my Wu wear back in the day, my Wallabies. Yeah, I was a Wu head. Like, come on, man.
And then they spun off into
Come
different
on, Wallabies.
projects. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, come on, man.
Wu-Tang is New York City legendary.
Absolutely. Man, give it up for Eddie George, keep a kill. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a serious round.
He even flipped it on us.
We sound crazy.
The Esther Roll.
Award.
So Eddie, at the We Sound Crazy podcast, we've got a situation we call the Irby.
Yeah,
it's an
the
it's an
Irby.
award, the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
That's what it's called.
It's basically an award where we select an individual who we feel like is underserved or not celebrated as much, and we nominate them, we vote, and we honor them, and it's an actual award.
Oh,
That
wow.
we, that we do
Nice.
for our show here. So without further ado, I'll toss it to one of my co-hosts to kick it off and kick the nomination. Let's go.
I'll go first. So I've been watching this man's show, Sanford and Son, for years, since I was a baby. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Harlem Nights. And I just feel like Red Fox does not get talked about at all. Like,
Okay.
So I'm putting Red Fox on the table for the Urban this week.
I'm gonna add, in the spirit of hip hop groups, one of my favorites of all time, I think as a group gets overlooked because of all the drama around them. I'm gonna nominate the Fugees.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes,
That's a good one.
yes.
The group, the Fugees.
That's a good one.
Because it's super influential. You don't get any of them really solo, and even how they were accepted without that sound that they
Right.
introduced as a group first. Miseducation wouldn't even make sense without hearing the score, all that kind of stuff too. So the Fugees is my nomination.
My nomination this week actually is a hip hop legend. I've been chatting with him and texting with him lately. I'm working on him coming on the show, but he's a trailblazer. One of one, Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, yes. Kane, yes.
See what you've done here.
Yeah.
Mine is a little less known, but he's done a lot of amazing stuff. He was on Jamie Foxx show. He was on Saturday Night Live. He went to music school. He was a professional classical singer. His name is Garrett Morris.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put him out there as a Irby nominee.
Irby nominee. Last
Do I
but not
need
It's on you.
least.
It's on you.
Oh, damn. I'm looking like, oh, man.
No pressure.
Oh, my God. No one that doesn't get enough credit. Oh, God. Let me think. There's a gentleman actually that inspired me to do what I'm doing now. Not only did he play football, he was a lawyer, he was a performer and actor. Paul Robeson.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, Paul Robeson. I had a chance
Okay.
to read his autobiography. And years ago when I retired and just was amazed at all the things that he's accomplished in his lifetime. A civil rights activist,
Amazing.
football player, intellect, all of it. Yeah, so that's my guy.
I need to read that autobiography, actually. That's going on my list.
Yeah.
All right, so just to recap, the first round we can all vote, and if we don't have a
We have
clear
a tie,
winner,
yeah.
then we'll address it from there. But right now, let's recap. We got Paul Robeson, Garrett Morris, the Fugees, Big Daddy Kane, and Red Fox. Without further ado,
Try show of hands. You
show
raise
of
your hand every
hands.
time.
Red Fox. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
3 for Red Fox. All right.
3.
the legend, Big Daddy Kane.
3.
The Fugees,
Jeez.
Garrett Morris. Damn. Paul Robeson.
There we go.
He's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I guess. He's like, I guess go ahead and give it to Paul.
Wow, recipient this week of the Esther Roll Black
I like that.
Excellence Award. That feels good. That
It feels good to be where we are right now.
Yeah.
And we remind people to check out that history.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we can,
Your
that's actually really important. I
Add
like
it to
that.
my Audible list now.
Yeah, me too. Paul Robeson.
I also got to make a shameless plug because shout out to TSU for winning their first Grammy.
That's
as a marching
right.
band.
Silver did one too.
Yeah.
Two Grammys.
Which these brothers co-produced the project.
Co-produced the
Urban
project.
Hymnal.
Yeah.
That's why I said shameless plug, man. You did that.
Yeah.
That's history in
Y'all
itself.
get Grammys too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're producers and artists and writers on the project.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
you,
man.
man.
It's history, long overdue.
Yeah.
Yes.
But very honored to be a part of it. Just as someone who's been living in Tennessee for the last 8 years now, and to see how hard these students work and how talented they are, it's a form of giving back. Even though, of course, we're winning, it still feels like a form of giving back because the spotlight on the musicians and the school is like chef's kiss.
We sound crazy. I want to ask you, what's the energy been like since the win for the Grammys?
Here?
Here on campus.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
I think the wins, no, I'm not going to say I think. I know and I feel the energy shifting in a positive direction holistically for this university. Again, you talk about the Grammys, and it's put Tennessee State on a map like of something really, really positive.
Yeah, that's good.
And given what's going on with the $250 million that's coming, and hopefully the other $250 that's going to come is going to really help go toward new buildings, infrastructure, again, staffing. It'll bleed into athletics.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see more kids enroll here in a great city with wonderful opportunities. You know, I think we're on the path to go from good to great, from great to eminence. And
love
that's
that.
going to be, that's exciting to see. And it all
Yeah, man.
starts with that. You know, credit to our student athletes and our students. We've been able to persevere and do more with less. And when you get the right resources and the right energy in the field, man, this place is going to be on fire. So it's a great starting point.
Yeah, man.
Tell me this: your youngest son, Eric, he's playing football.
Yeah.
Is he coming to Tennessee State?
He committed.
Really?
He was getting recruited heavily by Freeman, Navy, Marshall, University of Northern Arizona. Am I saying that right? Or North Arizona? Yeah. And he chose Tennessee State, and I did not recruit him. I didn't push him. I didn't say, hey, you got to come check us out. He just comes and feels the environment. He sees what we're trying to build. He sees what I'm trying to do. He knows the type of man that I am, and he knows what he's going to get out of me as a coach. My thing is I'm going to develop him, mind, body, and spirit, and from going from a young boy into a man, and he wants to be a part of that. And I asked him the question. I said, so why Tennessee State? And I said, what's your game plan? What are you thinking? He says, well, Dad, I've thought about it long and hard, and this is what I want to do. And here's my game plan. If I don't make it to the NFL, I want to get my master's in business. I'm going to study communications. I want to be able to work with my father and help him build this program.
Wow.
And
got a plan.
That's the plan.
I said, okay, wow, let's do it.
That's a plan.
Awesome, man.
Let's do it. I mean, I had to know why. It can't be, well, I'm close to home and, I want to kick your ass out. I want to get you off the books to some degree. Yeah. And have me really experience life away from Tennessee. But if that's in his heart, if that's his dream, let's go work.
That must make you very proud. You and Taj very proud.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
it really
that's
does.
Amazing.
Yes.
All right.
Man.
The legacy continues.
The legacy continues. And I got to ask this one as well, because I've been thinking about it since the Broadway debut years ago. Any more acting in the future?
Absolutely, Phil. I'm never going to shut the door on that. It just looks different. There's an opportunity possibly to produce something.
Yeah.
I still keep my iron, sharpen my sword by, doing master classes. And it helps for me in terms of presentation, to listen, to keep that skill going. But, my experiences here has inspired me to do some writing along those lines and to create somewhat of a series. I don't know if it's a dramedy or something like that. There's a lot of things to touch on from an institutional perspective, political perspective, but also culturally speaking, that people will find really, really funny, but also tragic in the same sense. You know
I was
going
to say just an NFL legend come back to coach at a HBCU is a hit TV show waiting to happen.
I mean, you're right.
It's a hit TV show waiting to happen.
And there's been others, like Prime has done it his way. I'm doing it my way. Ed Reed has tried it his way. And we all have, different stories that are similar, but stuff that you probably wouldn't believe. And it offers some really good insight into it. But ultimately, it's entertaining. So I use everything at the tip of my fingertips as inspiration for that. Yeah.
I want to see you get into producing and directing more. And I told you this one day. I ran into Eddie at the valet at the airport.
Yes.
I see everybody at the airport. You know what I mean? That's my second home.
Shout out to the valet airport. They're very helpful. They're very helpful with that valet.
But I meant I see you producing and directing more. And however I can support you, because you bet on a young me straight out of college.
Yeah.
I got you. I mean,
man, I appreciate that.
For real.
Definitely.
And if you need some music, look over here.
I think I got it all. I got the artist and Todd.
The whole thing is set up. The whole thing is set up.
This has been great. Great
been
conversation,
amazing.
guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Great conversation.
We sound crazy.
So when we go out, we try to go out with a song of your choice that you feel like sums up where you're at right now in life, or the conversation we had. Just like what song is sums up this experience today, right now?
Legacy by Jay-Z, 444.
That didn't even take much thought. He was like, bloop.
Legacy. See, that's
Legacy.
the DJ mindset.
That's the DJ mindset.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right.
Man, it's incredible. We're going to go out with legacy. Special shout out to our family here at Tennessee State University.
Yes.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Thank you to our partners at the National Museum of African American Music.
Yes.
Visit blackmusicmuseum.org and our friends at Visit Music City, our sponsors.
Yes. For showing us mad love.
Showing us crazy love. And thank you to Aaron, Myah behind the camera, Mike Guru Johnson, our producer. Yo, Kaylee up here snapping images. We in here. We
gotta get you back with some DJ equipment so you can just you can show off. You gotta show off.
Function where he DJ.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah,
we're doing
it's
it.
happening. Until next time,
Let's go until next time, y'all. Legacy. We out of here, y'all. We sound crazy.
Peace.
Take those monies and spread across families. My sister Hattie and Lou, the nephews, cousins, and TT. Eric, the rest of B for whatever she wants to.